We will continue our media availabilities. We're now joined by Denny Hamlin, the driver of the number 11 FedEx Freight Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. Denny, you're the defending champion here at the Glen. How is your team approaching tomorrow's road course race in order to repeat?
Just focusing mostly on the corners that you need to set up to pass on, making sure all the braking is good. Those are all the keys to being up front and having a fast car. And after that, it's all about circumstances and strategy and things like that.
We'll open it up to questions. Please raise your hand and we'll try to get to everybody. Holly?
Hi, Denny. I wanted to ask you, because of all of the different characteristics of a road course, is it harder to be in a must-win situation and get that win at a road course maybe than some of the other tracks you go to? How would you view that?
Yeah, I think it's probably equally as hard. Maybe harder, maybe easier. It's tough to say. I mean, there's so many wrecks that happens on road courses, different strategy plays. I'd say from a strategy standpoint, it's probably easier because there's so many different things you can do to gain track position. We're on oval tracks. You wear out tires, and you really can't stay out because you'll get passed in the first corner. This is a newly paved road course, so tires won't wear out quite as fast. So, as long as your crew chief is savvy enough, there's ways you can get up front.
Bob Hawkers, ESPN. Have you asked NASCAR or have any clarity on whether you can miss qualifying and/or race for the birth of your child?
I haven't asked, actually. I thought about it this morning, but no, I haven't quite asked what the rules are, but I'm assuming it would be allowed.
The court of public opinion would be in your favor.
Oh, right? Thank you. Yes. Thank you. You heard it here first. Thanks, Bob.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. I don't think I've seen this many off-road excursions out there during your practice session here. Why is it so difficult out there today?
For some, it's inexperience. For some, it's the speeds are so high. I mean, we're running pretty quick times here, and so you hang a wheel off one corner. It becomes very tough, but not really sure. I think, different circumstances, but overall it's really a tough track to stay on track. It's equally as tough as Sonoma, and even though Sonoma is probably more technical, this one has faster speed, so when you make a mistake, it usually is pretty big.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Denny, can you just run us through the particulars of Baby Watch? Is there like a deadline for? That's not it,
her.
is it? Okay,
We're good.
Is there a deadline by which you would have to have it happen to leave, or are you leaving regardless? And I know you have Regan Smith on standby. If you could just run through like all the details.
I don't know that we have a whole lot of details. I mean, he's there at the hauler. He's ready to go. As far as I'm concerned, if and when I get the call, I'll go just immediately. It really doesn't matter to me when it particularly is. I mean, short of it being, in the pace laps, then I would, try to run one lap and then come in. But any other time, I would just go right away. So I'm not really sure how it all will work, but I assume that my people will be gotten a hold of as soon as I need to go.
You have like your jet just on standby?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Tyler had the racing experts. They brought a little bit of a different tire here this week, and obviously just the second time on this surface. Are you going to be talking to Kyle and Eric and Matt about what they're feeling out in the race this afternoon and try to have a better idea for tomorrow?
Yeah, we always try to lean on their comments from Xfinity. At this racetrack, I think it definitely applies. We have a pretty good idea knowing that we've had a race on this new surface last year, what the track does from practice to race. So I don't think it'll change a whole lot. But, yeah, we always take that in consideration, and I always look at their notes after post-race Xfinity to see if we need to change anything, if the track did anything dramatically different. But it usually doesn't come into play quite enough for us to make big changes on our side.
Alan Cavana, Fox Sports. I'm just looking through the stats. It looks like you went about 6 years without getting a top 10 at a road course, and now you're going for your 4th top 5 in a row. What changed for you? How do you describe that progression?
I learned to do some things better, and I think we got our cars way better. To me, it's probably the braking side of things that improved the most for me. I mean, I'd always been pretty decent in practice, but never been really great in the race. I had a lot of brake issues every time, not failures, just lots of wheel hop, things like that going on, and we have fixed most of that stuff. So I'm able to charge the corners and do the things I need to do to be fast now.
Jerry Jordan, Kicking the Tires.net and PRN. Looking forward to next week. Can you just expand on your thoughts going into Michigan?
It's a racetrack we were really fast at earlier in the year. It used to be, that new paved racetrack, hard tires. It was not a racetrack I look forward to very much. But it seems like we've found a setup that's been quite a bit better over the last year or two. We were pretty competitive there in the early summer. So I look forward to going back there. I think I have the helmet cam there, which will be interesting. So that'll be fun to kind of see what the perspective looks like on TV. I don't know. It's due on Thursday, and she won't induce, so it'll be any time.
Jim Utter, motorsport.com. In the last several weeks, you and Kyle have both gotten victories. I was just wondering from a JGR perspective and then as your perspective from your own team, how do you feel about your competitiveness for a championship as the playoffs quickly approach?
Yeah, I mean, I still think, us in the 11 car have a little bit of a ways to go. I think that there's really 2.5 cars that, are probably consistently faster than us every single week, but that's better than the 9 or 10 that was, 3 or 4 months ago. So we're gaining on it for sure with us personally. Our organizations obviously got faster. The cars are good. They're driving good. I think some of the things I need to do go faster is probably on the driving side. So we probably need to work more on that than necessarily set up stuff.
Okay. All the way in the back.
Hi, Denny. Andy from the NBC station here in Elmira. Wanted to ask you, NASCAR being one of the 3 test sites here, Watkins Glen's one of them for qualifying and the race for the same day. Your thoughts on actually being something that's a positive for the sport and obviously for your team? Yeah,
I think it's 48 hours of almost nonstop racing action at a racetrack, which is very good. There's a lot of times when you have 3-day shows where nothing's on track for a while and it kind of gets stagnant. But I definitely like the shows, running through and something on the track nearly at all hours of the day. So it gives fans something to watch. So I definitely enjoy it. I'm sure the team guys enjoy it as well. So it's a step in the right direction. I think some of the Fan Fest stuff has been really good. I haven't been a part of one yet, but I see on Twitter the reactions to it, and I see a lot of talk about it. So you can argue what gets the fans more of an experience, us going around a racetrack or them actually being able to engage with us, and I would think would be the latter.
Reed Spencer, NASCAR Wire Service. As a single-digit handicapper yourself, have you been following Steph Curry in the Ellie Mae Classic, and do you have any desire, perhaps, to sometime do that yourself?
Yeah, I do have a desire. What he did was, I think, amazing. Even scratch golfers at their home course struggle to shoot 74, and then in competition like he was in on a real course, real competition, that was pretty impressive. I mean, he didn't finish last. I mean, I feel bad for those guys he beat because, they do it every single week. But, it's just it's fun to see guys that can cross over sports and be competitive. And, I mean, he still would have a ways to be truly competitive, but still, he he didn't stink up the show, and I think that it was a good thing for the Web.com series tour because normally they have nobody watching their event either in person or on TV, and I'm sure the ratings and the attendance was probably through the roof.
Okay. This will be the last question up in the back.
You mentioned brakes as far as an area where your cars have gotten better, and Jimmy Johnson was in here earlier saying that he needs to work on how he's braking in each of these corners. We often hear about aerodynamics, but you guys are talking about brakes here. Is that the biggest area of opportunity at a road course?
Yeah, I mean, you can usually change your balance and make your car run through the corners, all the corners combined, maybe a couple tenths faster, maybe 3 tenths, but you can charge a corner by an extra 50 feet and make up way more time than that. So I think that it's pretty important for sure.
All right. Thanks, Denny.
All right,
Good luck.
thanks.